Welcome to Masala of Cultures.
A show by Luisa and Ashwin.
Join us to connect and grow through differences.
Hola Masala.
This is Ashwin from India and my wife Luisa from Colombia. And in today's episode, we are going to talk about how self-work is important in intercultural relationships. I realized it when I was expecting Luisa to be okay with some of the habits and the practices that I've acquired since childhood. And it's natural because you as an individual have done things differently for a long time, and your partner has done it differently for a long time, especially if you come from different countries, cultures, traditions, religions, language. It just becomes increasingly difficult, and you have this unconscious expectation in your mind all the time, right? Like, when did you realize it?
I think for me, it was after coming to India. I had to understand that life becomes way easier when we accept that we don't have the right answers all the time. So while growing up, I based my identity, or I made my identity look like a strong person, very strong-willed and very independent. But while transitioning from this stage of teenager to young adult, I thought that everything had to be my way because I didn't even want to marry, for example, when we met, right? Because I saw marriage as an oppression to my freedom. Colombia has more fluidity when it comes to gender roles compared to India. Here, there is a very fixed mindset in the majority of people I have met. As a woman, you study, you get married, you have kids, and you take care of the family. Of course, there are exceptions, but the majority of people, especially in previous generations, will believe the same. So, of course, my father used to advise me, and he used to tell me so many times, Luisa, you have to change. That is not okay. This strong willness is really good for academic and for business scenarios. But when it comes to interpersonal relationships, it can bring a lot of misunderstandings. What do you think?
That's right. There's no marriage relationship or even a business partnership where everything is equal. Sometimes you give more, sometimes you receive more. It's all about being there for the other person when they need you the most without thinking twice. Listen, I'm pretty sure that we would have broken up in the first year of our relationship if not for self-work.
It's really hard to hear, but you're absolutely right because that was part of my dad's advice. And I think this is a homage to him because he used to say, in relationships, you have to adjust. The 50-50 agreement is a myth. Sometimes you have to give 70-30. Sometimes you have to give 90-10. And sometimes you even have to give 100%. And it's not about giving up or who gives up and who doesn't. It's about maturing, growing up, and realizing that to be with another person and to build a longing relationship,
Long-lasting relationship.
a long-lasting relationship, you have to be able to change in order to grow. While learning how to live in India with your family, I had two choices. One was to impose myself and my ways to you and your family, or two, to change myself and adapt to this new place. I cannot say that I am 100% used to my life here, but I can definitely say that now I enjoy it. I had to evolve to see beauty in everything around me. As I said, I'm not used to everything, but now I can enjoy, for example, Chennai's sunset, even with the heat. I can enjoy my hot lemon chai, also in the heat. And I can even walk in the streets without freaking out because of the fear of the driving, right? Because of my ego, I couldn't see the beauty that India, and in our case, Chennai, beholds. Once you outgrow and overpass that limitation, it's very empowering and liberating to understand that your partner and yourself are still being are these beings that are still in progress, and growing is not just since you were 0 years old to 18 years old. No, it's forever, right? Once you adult, you still grow. Like being 30 years old and being 50 years old, there's 20 years of difference, and there's a lot of changes in between. So I think it is part of it. We have to change. There is no way we can have an intercultural relationship without self-work.
That's very right, and it's the same case like for me too, because I've had my way of doing things since childhood, and when you get into a relationship with someone you love, and especially who's from the other side of the world, it just becomes even more important to go into an observing mode rather than an enforcing mode. I know that I failed in that now because I can be extreme in certain things, like when it comes to putting things in a certain place. For example, like I want my food put on the plate in a specific way every single day, and when Luisa does it, she does it in her own way, and there's no pattern for her. She does it in this way today and another way tomorrow, like how most of you would do, right? But I'm not like that. And it's the same. It's the same when it comes to putting books in a shelf or putting the clothes in a wardrobe. I want things to be in a certain way, and it's not like in any OCD kind of way, but still like very organized and like in the same way. And sometimes, sometimes for Luisa, for the other person, for your partner, it can be very frustrating. I know it's like these are all very small things, but these small things happen multiple times a day and can really frustrate the person on the other end. And us Indians are very direct in saying things, which just makes it worse. Like we say, put this there instead of, can you please put this there in like Colombia? With words like please, can you, thanks, sorry, they make it sound nice in Colombia. In India, we're just like, why are you saying please and sorry all the time? Are we strangers? Please just stop it.
Please, you just said please.
Well, now I'm used to the Colombian way of doing things. Normally, they would just say, stop it.
Yeah, that's definitely a triggering point for me, even now. But the thing is that in intercultural love, your pride, your childhood, all your culture shows up in the room. And we have to unlearn that my way is the right way.
You get to decide whether you want to build a long-lasting relationship. A healthy relationship is more important than just having it your own way, right? Even if it's flawed sometimes. It's always a two-way street. You have to give to receive, and you always have to do what you want to receive in the end. Like, you always want to receive nice compliments and all that, but if you're being rude all the time, you're definitely not going to receive all those niceties. Just like I said, it's always a two-way street, and you always have to be able to and willing to adapt and change. And it's not just 1 year or 2 years after the marriage or a relationship. It's going to be forever. It's a forever process. And we're still working on many of these things. So one such example is that we have very different schedules. Like, she is a night person and I am a day person.
No, it's the opposite, love.
Well, I just wanted to say that, at least in front of the camera. No, I'm definitely not a day person. I am a night person, and she is the day person. So she's been used to that since forever because schools in Colombia start so early in the morning at 6 a.m. Why? I had school at 9 a.m. Imagine 6 a.m. compared to 9 a.m. Even when we try to sync our schedules lately, like we try to wake up like 4 days early, and then there's at least 1 or 2 days where I have to play football late at night or watch a game late at night, right? It's just no brainer for me because I work from home, flexible schedule, so I can sleep late and wake up late and work whenever I want to. I thought our biggest fights are going to be about love, but they were actually about identity, ego, culture, and all these subtle differences.
Yeah. And wow, that's very deep. It's very deep because we don't like to show our weaknesses. Nobody likes to show the weaknesses. And I am reading this book, Hold Me Tight, by Sue Johnson, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, Sue Johnson. And it talks about it. We have certain raw spots, and our partner is the person that gets to touch them the more often because we spend too much time together and we spend our whole lives together after deciding to be with each other. So these raw spots are these emotional triggering points that make us become like demons basically or to get in our fight or flight mode. So once we understand those raw spots, we can start creating dialogues and communications to grow. There is this beautiful quote that says, "We are naturally reluctant to confront our vulnerabilities. We live in a society that says we are supposed to be strong, to be invulnerable. Our inclination is to ignore or deny our frailty." It's extremely important to open up with our partners because otherwise, well, first we have to know ourselves to grow and to evolve, and then open the door for our partner to come inside, see the world we have, and if we are open. So for example, let's say this is my personal life, right? I open my door to you, and let's say I have a mirror, but you want to change the position, and maybe your idea is really good, but just because it has been the mirror there in the same way for my whole life, it doesn't mean that I shouldn't be open to the idea or that I should fight about it, right?
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, some tips to get this right includes questioning our normal. So what's normal for the spider is like little for the fly, and what's normal for me doesn't have to be normal for you, right? Because I love playing sports and you are great at winter sports for some reason, right? Like this big difference. And when I try to ice skate or anything, I am so awkward and I'm just so scared of falling down and breaking my ankle. But we have different strengths, we have different normals, and of course it's very comfortable all the time, but from time to time we also have to question these normals, especially when it's clashing with our relationship, and we have to question if it's inherently ours or if we took it from someone else, let's say from our parents or friends or just from our culture. Because if it's just something taken from someone else, it doesn't truly mean a lot in most cases, and it can be adapted and changed to accommodate your partner. Of course, you don't have to do it with every single thing, because some of those things can be like very deep for you, mean a lot for you, and you don't need to change it or adapt it. But there's always a few things that can be adapted and changed, and you just have to question which of those things are like able to be changed.
Absolutely. And I just remember in one conversation we had with our friends lately in a cafe, we said something about adjusting and adapting. And while preparing for the video, I discovered that that's completely new, I think, for both of us, about the concept of adjusting and adapting, right? I don't think I know how to use it yet, but basically, adapting is to sacrifice something in order to or accommodate. Anyway, the point is that you have to sacrifice something in order to
Get along with
get
something.
along, exactly. But adjusting is, while respecting boundaries, how to reach the agreement. It's not that one is superior to the other one. I think sometimes we have to, like, hacer malabares. How do you call that? Chu, 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 chu.
Juggle it as it comes.
Exactly, we have
Okay.
to do that, you said.
Okay.
That will lead me to the second tip, which is to listen to our partner without being defensive. We have to practice listening to our partner without feeling like it's a competition. For example, let's say that in one family they eat everything that is on the plate and you cannot leave leftovers redundantly. But in the other family, you only eat whatever you want to eat. The point is not who is right and who is wrong, it's just two different ways. So it's useless to start comparing our childhoods or how we were brought up because it's just so different. There's no point in saying this is the right way. No, this is the right way. There is no right way when you have two different worlds. There are just two ways. And you choose which new way you are going to have in your home.
We also have to know that sometimes it may not work out and there may be conflicts. That's why it's important to build rituals, coming to tip number 3. And so you have to identify the triggers and paths that keep you grounded when emotions arise. For example, in Luisa's case, it's journaling every single day, and it can also be breath work, walks, meditation, prayer, whatever healthy thing that can make you feel better. And remember that in intercultural relationship, one person or sometimes even both have moved mountains and heavens in order to be with each other to make it work. So there can be so many different feelings that arises, like homesickness, isolation feelings, and so many more that you probably didn't even know existed. To conclude, and something that can really help you guys out as well, we highly recommend you to check our guide of the 4 best relationship books we've read so far. Last year, we just wanted to see what are the top relationship books. Like, we're newly married, we want to learn more about being married, being in a relationship, being healthy. We just came across a few of them and found these 4 books to be incredibly good. We just wrote our thoughts about it and made a little guide, and you can check it down in the description. It's always exciting to make new episodes on not so obvious topics related to intercultural relationship. So thanks for joining, and check out our website masalaofcultures.com and stay connected with us on Instagram at Masala of Cultures.
Nandri, Vanakkam.